Hey, everybody, it is so good to see you. I'm excited about today because I have some of my friends and some of your friends with me today. You know, when we sat down and planned this Healthy Way 2.0, and we had the theme behind us of life after the healthy way, I knew it was going to be super important that not only did you hear from me, from my perspective and my experiences, but that you heard from some people that are on the journey with you. So I invited some of those sojourners to come today and kind of share some hope, share some solutions, some of the tips that they use not only to lose weight or change behaviors in their life, but most importantly, to change it permanently. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy my time just like you are, hearing from my friends and your friends as we experience some of the things that have worked for them and make a difference in their lives. So I'm going to just start by asking if Lori would come and share with us a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, Letha. And I am honored to be on this panel with all these amazing women. The tool that I chose to discuss with y'all is the habit tracker. It is the solution for me when I struggle, and it usually prevents me from struggling in the first place a lot of times. It helps me to develop the thinking and the behaviors to support my goals and to transform myself, body, soul, and spirit. So everybody should have received some, I think, in their binders. And I just wanted to say that where the habit tracker comes in for me is our minds are very powerful tools. And since our beliefs control our thoughts, which then dictate our feelings, which then determine our actions, if you're not where you want to be right now in your life, it might be because of the way you think. And so through our habits, we can change that. And so, yeah, the good news is that you're in control. That's also kind of the scary thing to me, but you can decide what you think. And so if you develop those habits that help you to change your thinking, you can then change your life and make these healthy choices. So that's where the habits and the habit tracker come in for me. Good habits are simply daily choices that are beneficial to both our physical and our mental health. And they can help lead you to the success and the happiness that you desire. So the habits that I have on my habit tracker are designed to do just that. They change my thinking and help support the healthy lifestyle that I want to live. And the habit tracker is simply a way to log your behavior and to measure your habit consistency. So the habits that I have, or the list of actions that I have on here that I want to consistently practice, they get me thinking positively and working towards my goals. And the habit tracker does 3 different things for me. First off, it reminds me to act. You got these squares on here. I don't know if you can see those real good, but they act as visual cues to that action needs to be taken. And so I look at those and go, yeah, this is what I need to do today. I haven't done that yet. It also motivates me to continue. Progress is a highly effective form of motivation. And so if you're tracking your progress like this on the tracker, if you're like me, you don't want to break your streak if you got one going. So even on those days where you're not feeling like maybe you want to follow through on all this, it might just give you the motivation to do that. So, and then the other thing it does for me, I'm an obliger. So some of you are familiar with that term. And so I like external motivation. And so this also provides that for me. It's immediate satisfaction and a reward to mark off the items on this list. And I like to watch my results grow. And when it feels good, yeah, you're likely to stick with it. So anyway, so that's my tracker. And I would recommend for you guys to start keeping a tracker yourself. I'd start out slow. you don't want to be overwhelmed and get discouraged. So maybe start with 1 or 2 things that you find, you think will be beneficial to your health journey. And once you get consistent at those, then add another one. Because I find that you don't have to track everything that you do in your daily routine, but if you would simply add one to one that you already have, like you do it right afterwards, you're more likely to stick with it. And the other thing I wanted to say about these is this and the whole program is not about perfection. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss days. Don't beat yourself up. Just pick up where you left off and follow, go forward, fail forward. So you can see, like, I think this is my January tracker, had quite a few gaps in it. I was on vacation, so didn't do overly great there. February, still had some gaps. But, March, hey, we went into quarantine, so I started to get a little better, except for the weekends. And then, April and May under quarantine, I did even better. So anyway, it's not about perfection. And the other thing I wanted to say about all that is, well, I lost my train of thought on that, but anyhow, just stick with it and keep making forward progress.
You offered us some amazing information, and I know the habit tracker has been, vital in your growth, in your weight loss, in the changes you've made in your life. I mean, it's just been wonderful. So you did a beautiful job of unfolding that for us and showing us what that looks like. So we might have to come back to you to learn more about it, but we only have a certain amount of time. We got to keep going.
Well, like I said, I could have taken up all 40 minutes, but and that was the reduced. I was almost done, but we're okay. We're good.
All right. So Lori, thank you so much. I'm going to move to Deborah and ask her to share a little bit with us. Go for it, Deborah. Teach us something.
Okay. Thank you, Letha. Well, Lori, thank you. You touched on many of the things that that I was thinking of also under the topic of accountability. I have found that accountability has been one of the strongest tools that I've gained and that I will continue to use the rest of my life. So to me, accountability is about being responsible and recognizing that you have the power. You've had it all along. You are the final step in your own success, and it's up to you. So how does that magic happen? I feel like the first step is identifying what you want and why. And I think that that why is probably the strongest motivator you'll ever find. So take some time with that. The second thing I think you would want to do is to set up 2 things. First, a group of accountability partners, and second, a mirror. So the accountability partners will be the people you go to look for that outside support. Some really good examples. If your goal is to read more, join a book club. You've got built-in accountability, the meeting time, you're going to finish your book, showing up at the meeting, you're being accountable to those other people. Walking is a really nice way. Find a person that has a like goal. You could either walk virtually together, you could walk in distance. If you don't pick a person, you could also use our Healthy Way group. Our friend Margie posts a picture of herself every single day out on her walk, and even recently explained that it was too rainy and she walked inside of her house. That was using us as her accountability partners. So why a mirror? That's random, right? Well, the truth is that you are your best accountability partner. You're your strongest ally. And in the end, you're always going to be there for yourself. So how does that work? The first thing you're going to do is look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, you've got this. You know yourself better than anyone. And in the end, what matters is, what will you do when no one's watching? What will you do if nobody's going to pay attention to what you're saying or doing? So it's important that you find that way to keep your promises to yourself and to do some self-care. Lori talked about the habit tracker, recognizing what things will fill you up every day, and then finding a way to measure that by using the habit tracker. I use the calendar. You can use electronic devices. I use Calm. Lori mentioned that for meditation, and it gives you the option to record how you feel every day, and then it sends you little motivational messages that, you know, you're doing great. You've meditated 5 days in a row. Keep it up. I think that's another important thing about accountability is recognizing what your needs are. So sometimes you need a cheerleader. And so that's when you want to go to yourself in the mirror and say, you got this, you can do it. And sometimes you need somebody that's going to kind of kick you in the butt. And that's when you're going to sit down and do some journaling and be honest with yourself. So I've been pretty thankful that through Healthy Way and through reading, I've identified 3 basic steps that help me to be accountable to myself. The first one is telling the truth. That was probably the hardest. Everybody messes up, and it's pretty easy to blame or to should, would, or could yourself. But the truth is everybody messes up. And what's important is just to recognize I messed up. I'm going to be honest with myself. Being dishonest only makes it worse. The next thing is monitoring yourself. Again, Lori's habit tracker is a perfect example. She doesn't show that habit tracker to people every day. She just sees it herself. She's monitoring her own behavior. She mentioned a Saturday where she didn't do it. She stopped and realized what's wrong. Why am I imbalanced? Why do I feel frustrated? And then she realized, wait, I didn't do my reading. I'm going to interject here that recently I had my 7-year-old in the house come to me and say, why do you read every day? And he was frustrated because he wanted me to come play with him. And I thought, victory! I have a 7-year-old recognizes I read without compromise because I am accountable to myself for my morning reading, whether he likes it or not. So, and that's the final thing, and it kind of addresses all these topics, is to recognize when there's a problem. I think if you hit a bump or if you have a problem, the most powerful thing you can do in accountability is take time for yourself and stop and just think, what is the problem? And then ask yourself, what could I do or what didn't I do that might have fed this problem? And what could I do differently next time? And then finally, and again, most important, how will I be accountable for my role in this and for what I can do differently next time? And then how will I measure that? What tools will I use to make sure that I grow from this problem rather than wallow in it and feel defeated? So I started Healthy Way when it was the team challenge, and I signed that contract like many of you did. And I had a partner that I was accountable to. I felt responsible to be there for that person. And then I transitioned and became closer to Healthy Way as a community. And I have a group of Healthy Way friends that I have an accountability group with, where we report our weight to each other every day. We report our nutrition goals every day, and we pay attention. We don't just post it and move on. We recognize if somebody's struggling, and then we ask, how can I help? What's going on? It's a really powerful thing. So I feel like if you can be accountable, think of it as being responsible. We're responsible to many others. Be responsible to yourself. Keep the promises you make to yourself, and then find a way to measure that, whether it's through a support group or on your calendar or on your habit tracker, whether you set goals for yourself. Just make sure that you're staying on top of it. And as I said, that you're doing what you promised when no one's watching. That's what really matters. And I love you all. If anyone has any questions about these ideas, feel free to use that report weight email, and I'll get back to you. We can discuss it further. So thank you, Letha, for allowing me to share this. It's been an important thing in my life, and it's been a game changer for sure.
Thank you, Deborah. We love you and we're so glad you're a part of our story. So thank you.
Thank you.
So, hey, Gina, share with us a little bit.
Hi, everyone. Like Letha said, this is Gina. I want to just expand a little bit on Lori and Deborah, so this fits in really nicely. I started my journey at Healthy Way many years ago, longer than Lori or Deborah, and I have lost 150 pounds. I spent years after that going up 30, 40 pounds back and forth a couple times a year. And really what I would describe as my first several years at Healthy Way was what Letha calls white knuckling it, meaning that just would push myself through the diet, push myself, do the homework. I did all the homework, but didn't really absorb it. And what I want to talk to you about today is changing your thinking. Changing my thinking, even though I still struggle with gaining weight, it's nothing near like I had before. So it's been successful. But changing my thinking is what has given me hope and inspiration and reassurance that I can trust myself, that I'm headed in the right direction. So I wanted to share a little bit about that with you. I've needed to remind myself over and over again that this is a journey. It's the doing. It's where the joy and meaning is. Yes, we just can't wait to get to the finish line. In this case, losing all of our weight and keeping it off, but it's not all of it. We're on a 6-month journey, and to finish successfully, we need to enjoy every single day. We need to do it now. Life after Healthy Way is doing all the things right now. So for example, have fun. Enjoy the journey. Don't white knuckle this, as I'd said before. Enjoy every single day of being on Healthy Way. Go on fun adventures. Create amazing recipes. I still to this day get ideas from other people and then grow on that recipe and enjoy my food every day. Make new Healthy Way friends. Deborah had mentioned this, is so many of my friends, my close friends that I have, I've met at Healthy Way. Live the Healthy Way right now, every single day. Don't wait. We get it so mixed up that being on a diet, having homework, trying to change, all these things that we need to do, that this is painful. When truthfully, I could start crying about this because really what it is pleasure, peace, and freedom. And it's reminding yourself every day about that. Pain is not living our very best lives Pain is not living our very best lives right now. So right now is why we working the program. It's joyful, and keep reminding yourself. To reinforce this, I do a couple things. I write 5 things you love about yourself right now. In my case, 5 things that I love about myself right now. And again, this reminds us that we're in the journey, that we've made progress, that we can trust ourselves. 5 things you love about your body right now. That's so hard for me, but I can come up with them. And some of the things that I've come up with are things that I've always had about my body. And some are the things that are about my new body, 150 pounds lighter. And then 5 things you love about the life you've created so far. So what are you creating right this second, right now, the last 2 years, this last year, this last month? What are you proud of? What are you in the middle of creating that will sustain you? I mean, Deborah and Lori gave us ideas about how you can create this new life. And I use those same skill sets as well. So that's what I wanted to bring today, that hopefully provides you hope and inspiration, that it's in today, and it's the doing, and then remembering them by writing them down. Thanks, Letha.
Thanks, Gina. I was going to cry too, but I stopped short of the tears. So thanks for sharing with us. So last and not least, Kimberly, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited for this opportunity to share some of the practices that have helped me stay on track or get back on track when things are tough. The 2 things that I want to share with you are journaling and art therapy. Journaling has changed my life in ways that I knew were possible, but I didn't want to believe it. So what I've discovered is that by doing journaling daily, it helps to uncover things that I never knew were inside. It helps unpack things like cleaning out my purse at the end of the day. There's so much inside that that I need to get out that journaling helps me with. So, you know, I used to be a thinker and feel like that was enough, but keeping it in my brain didn't get it out of my body. And so what I've experienced is that it's been super valuable to make a daily practice of it. And it doesn't matter how you're doing it, or, you know, just the fact that you're sitting down and thoughtfully getting stuff out, you'll see changes. You'll be able to identify things that you never knew were in there. So some ways that I helped myself get into journaling, I like color and excitement. So I have like a box of colorful markers that I use for my journaling. I think it's also fun to have a fun journal. I prefer the composition books, but of course I can't have just a normal one. I have to have one that's colorful. Some people prefer journals that have like a powerful message, you know, to hold on to. You know, there's no wrong or right way to do it. Find something that works for you and that gets you excited to do it. So that's my encouragement for journaling. Something for that I started to do at the beginning of this year is art therapy. As I said, I'm a thinker, and so there's been a lot of times where I'll have a mantra running through my head, and that it helps. But when I sat down to visualize that mantra, it really made a connection of not only thinking something, but creating a visual to attach to it. So, you know, something similar to the habit tracker, I felt during the quarantine, the start of quarantine, I was like, I need things to be normal. What are the things that I do in my life that will make me feel normal? And so I did just a quick drawing and, you know, pulled out the things that I could create as traditions or rituals or practices on a daily basis that would help me feel normal in a time of chaos. Another thing that I did recently, I was feeling really delicate and, you know, like I could shatter at any moment. And so I kept repeating to myself, I'm not fragile. I can bend. I'm not going to break. I'm not fragile. And so in order for me to connect with that, I just did a little teacup that says, I'm not fragile. And I keep it here next to my computer. So anytime I'm having those feelings, I'm able to, you know, make that connection and repeat to myself, I'm not fragile. And it just helps remind me, it helps center me, it helps focus me. So those are a few things that I've done that have helped me get outside of my brain and really connect with the feelings and emotions that I'm going through, that have not only helped me in my eating practices, but in my relationships, in my spiritual well-being. There's been so many benefits to making that emotional connection. So I'll toss it back to you, Letha.
Thank you. And we are just about out of time. So that was perfect. You guys, thank you so much for sharing what I know will make a huge, huge difference in the lives of all of our Healthy Way family. So love you guys. Look forward to hearing more from you. This won't be the last time we get together. And thank you for sharing. I really, really appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you later.